Well, another month has passed and we're officially in the third quarter of 2022. So you're probably wondering, what's going on with our local real estate market? Are we seeing the leading edge of the storm, and how bad will it get? Hi, I'm Greg Davis with Greg Davis Real Estate, powered by Vanguard Realty Alliance LLC. And if you've been following my market updates, then you've seen some of the changes that are happening in our market compared to what you're seeing and hearing about in the national market. But again, I want to remind you that real estate is hyper-local and that we tend to be a bit buffered right here. So what happened in the Westchester, Kennett, Downingtown, and Unionville, Chadford area school districts last month? Well, let's jump right into the data. And as always, just a reminder that I've excluded new construction from the data because I find that it tends to skew things like median prices and days on the market in particular. For data consistency, we're only looking at the numbers on existing housing stock because that's the primary segment of our market, and there's still a shortage of new construction in our area anyway. Let's start with closed sales. Last month we had 215 closed sales, which is the lowest volume we've had since April. As you can also see, there's been a steady downward trend in closed sales from the high back in June of this year. Next, let's take a look at inventory and the median number of days a home is on the market before going under contract. Looking at this red line, you can see that the median number of days on market is now 7. This is the first time since January of this year that we've exceeded the previously steady 5 to 6 days. While the uptick is an interesting thing to note, it's not a reason to panic, and it still indicates that a high level of buyer demand exists. Now, looking at this blue line, you can see that the inventory is still hanging out at just over a month's worth of inventory. So despite the slight uptick in days on the market, we continue to have significantly low inventory, and the numbers don't appear to indicate any major shift out of a seller's market and into a buyer's market yet. Next, let's take a look at the median list price versus median sales price for the homes that sold in our market for the year so far. The first thing to note here overall is it's a bit of a roller coaster ride that started back in May, and the change in the gap between list price and sales price. Last month in our market, we had a median list price of $525,000 and a median sales price of $535,000, which are down from August, but still above the numbers for July and quite a bit less than the high water mark we had in June. Overall, I think the mortgage rate fears and fluctuations are driving some of this bouncing around, and it'll be interesting to see where this year actually ends up. The final stop on this month's data train is this graph showing the median list price to actual sales price, and this is where things get slightly more interesting. If you look at the overall trend for the year, we're seeing some significant drop-off from the high water mark in June, and that we're at the lowest gap all year. So as always, I'm sure you're wondering, what does it all really mean? Well, here in the Westchester, Kennett, Downingtown, and Unionville, Chadford area school districts, not a lot has actually changed. We still have relatively low inventory, and we still have relatively strong buyer demand. I think the thing to watch here is the impact that the significant drop in the stock market has on consumer sentiment. More specifically, I think we need to watch how the lenders react to the economy and what the Fed does with interest rates. It's going to be interesting to see how that all translates to drive inventory, list prices, and sales prices. I know I'm repeating myself from last month, but I am seeing more price decreases, which is most likely related to homes being initially overpriced by agents that are either inexperienced or they're not factoring in the current market conditions and the overall direction. Also, because of the super hot market conditions for the majority of this year so far, a quick sale has become the new expectation. Accordingly, a lot of agents and sellers forget that as the market balances, it's going to translate into longer days on market, and it's perfectly normal for a home to sit on the market for 30 days before it sells. For my sellers out there, if you're thinking of selling, now is still absolutely a good time. Inventory is super low and prices are still high. So the key to selling in this market is to price it right and then don't freak out and immediately drop the price if you're not under contract in the first week. It's really important to allow the home to get sufficient marketing exposure so you don't miss a good opportunity. A good quality home is still going to sell quickly if it's priced right, and you're still likely to get multiple offers. Just make sure that you hire an agent that has proven experience with digital marketing to make sure that your home is exposed to the masses to get the most offers, which leads to getting the best price and terms for your home. For my buyers out there, yes, inventory is still tight, but the good news is that the competition is far less intense than earlier this year, and we can negotiate a better offer with sellers since there's generally fewer offers coming onto the table. It's also a good time to buy because as we go into the fall, a lot of people get focused on the holidays and they put their home search on hold. This means that there's going to be even less competition and an opportunity to creatively negotiate with sellers that don't want to deal with a move during the holidays. The key is to hire an experienced agent with great negotiating skills to represent you. The decision to buy or sell a home is a big deal, and it's not something that I take lightly. If you're like most people, you're going to have a lot of questions, and that's totally normal. The key is choosing the right agent that you can trust and rely on to stand right there with you and to guide you through the entire process. I can't tell you how many other people come to talk to me about their concerns about what to do in this market, and every situation is unique. So just give me a call and let's set up a time to sit down and have a no-pressure strategy session to address all your questions and concerns and to review some options together. I'm Greg Davis, your personal compass, guiding you to that special place you'll want to call home. And I look forward to guiding you through your selling and buying journey. I love where I live and I want you to love it too.